So we're going to replace our clutch and brake levers on our bike, on our motorbike, for adjustable levers. So the ones we've got today, fairly straightforward job. So this is the stock lever that we're going to change today. If you're familiar with doing bike repairs, it's pretty much straightforward really. It's like a little drum on the end of the cable, which is the mechanical one on this one, mechanical. So that's the aftermarket one I've gone for. If you can see it there, it's got 6 settings on it. I think on setting 6 it's pretty stock. You can get shorty levers. This one looks pretty much the same length as the original. So that'll be on position 6. As you flick it, I'll do the extreme. That's position 1, so it will pretty much take it down to there really. So it's quite a good differential on the gap there, you can see. So the tools you'll probably need is you will need under there, you'll need some kind of socket set just to remove that bolt. So you'll have to probably loosen off the slack for the clutch mechanism. So I think on my bike what I'm going to do, I'll just release the tension, the adjustment screw on it, just to get rid of this, just to let the slack back in, and that will give us more room to give us more flex on the cable to getting the lever out. Then obviously once the new cable, once it's all locked back in again, you'll have to readjust the cable, but your bike may vary to this one, so that's just how this setup is. Then afterwards we'll go on and move the I've got 2 levers. I've got one for the clutch as well. Sorry, the brake. This is the brake lever. This one should be a bit more easier. It should be just a bolt, because all this is doing is it's activating a mechanical switch, and it's got a little plunger that pushes the brake fluid into the reservoir. So that's for that side. I've got the other side. Also with these ones, they've got this added feature that I suppose if you drop the bike, they actually flip up, these ones. I suppose it stops them snapping if the bike falls over. They just clip in, just clip back down again. It's quite a nice feature. These ones do say R3 on them, because this is pretty much the R3 bike. This is the MT-03 version. So it's basically the same bike engine, running gear. It's just a different position of seating, and the handlebars are slightly different, but we'll soon see when I take the other one off. I couldn't find specific for the MT-03, but they're pretty much the same bike, so I'm hoping that these will be like for like, to be honest. For the cable, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to slacken this one off. I'm going to slacken this off completely, and that will give me some free play on the cable. I'm hoping that's enough. And if you really want to, you could probably actually take this off if you want to, maybe. Don't know if I want to go to that extreme, to be honest. What you can do, look, it comes off really easy actually, look, it just unhooks. So really, I probably did it wrong there. You could probably keep the adjustment set as it was. I'll readjust it anyway, but you can keep the adjustment set on this particular bike. You can just release the front locking nut, and you can just release the cable out of its holder, and that's pretty much taken all the slack off the cable now, that has, which is really good. So on this particular bike, it's just a 10mm socket, so we'll just get that in there. Okay, so that's the bolt out, don't lose it. We'll take the pin out here. Let's remove the pin. Okay, that's that out. Now if you look here, there's a little line. So if you pull the cable, you get all the lines lined up. Okay, that's it. We've freed the lever from the holder now. So that's it. That's out. This is like the bicycle type, if you see it. And that's it. That's pretty much out now. So that's what's came out, and that's what I'm putting back. You can just check that they're pretty much the same. Hopefully that should slide in there, which it does. Now if you look at this, there's a little brass bushing on this one. The brass bushing's not on that one, so we'll have to. And there's a little rubber washer as well there, like an O-ring on this particular model. Does it need the O-ring? Probably not. But what it will need is the brass bushing on there. So you push that through, it should just slide out. Okay, hopefully the brass bushing will fit on this one. It's quite tight. I might put a bit of grease on there actually, I think. So I might just take that out and put a bit of grease back in it, I think. Okay, so what would be better than using on your bushing is some racing grease, or some quick clutch slip action. So we'll stick a bit of that on there, on the bushing. We'll give it a clean up. Nice and clean. Get your racing grease. I'm sure it's not necessary, but let's put a dab of grease on this. Oh, it feels faster already. Got that back on. Hopefully that should just fit back in there, which it does. Should activate the little switch. Make sure the lever activates the switch. That's your safety switch for the clutch if it's in gear. Does that need a bit of racing grease on it as well, do you think? Should put a dab on it. If in doubt, grease it up. Okay, so that sits in there. Offer it back in there like that. Let's get that back in position. Get the cable in the hole. There you go. Right, let's get the bolt. Just add a bit of racing grease to that as well. So this bolt is keyed here. So it's got like a bit of a flat side shank on it, so you don't have to worry about gripping the top of it. Just put a little dollop of grease on the threads. Right, let's offer that back in. Okay, so that's seated back in there now. Right, let's go ahead and put the nut back on. Suppose the bushing stops it from compressing the lever. Okay, so just nip it up enough so it's still free. I think you can over tighten it actually, and it just makes the whole lever tight. Right, you need to reassemble the adjuster. With mine it's actually snapped, so I'm going to have to replace that at some point. The adjuster's actually snapped on this one. Okay, with the lever all back in position now and the cable feeded back through the slot, we can go ahead now and readjust the tension on the cable again now to bring all the slack back in now. So we'll go ahead and do that. You've got your drum, the nipple of the cable back in position like it should be. So we'll go ahead now and reassemble the cable. Pull the cable, it should pull tight back on the top. You'll have to check your manual for the free play just to make sure there's no cable's not too tight on the lever there. Don't want premature wear on your clutch. So you might just want to do the lever a few times just to seat the cable. So that looks pretty good to me. That feels pretty good. Obviously, take it for a ride and see how it feels on the lever. You can always adjust it if need be. This was a 12mm spanner on this, so we've got that tight on the lug as a flat side, so the nut sits tight on there, so that side won't come loose. You probably just need to nip that up actually. That's all. It doesn't need to be tight. There's play on that. You can see it's moving and the cable's not. So that's fine. We're happy with that. Okay, so it's all back together now. Happy with that. That's the feature of if it falls over. Not all of them have got that feature. I didn't realise it was on there to be honest, but it's fine. It looks alright. Nice colour. Colour match with the bike. It's black. The bike's black, so it's quite good. You can get those all different colours to suit your needs, suit your colour preference. So that's on setting 6 now, and you can see that's pretty much on a standard gap, I suppose. And I suppose as you flick that's gone straight to 4, so that's 5. 4, 3, 2, 1, and 1's really close there. Look, you've got real minimal. But then the clutch doesn't need much of a lever to change gear, does it? So I'll probably see how I get on it. It'll probably be a midway point for me, probably. Maybe a 3. I'll probably start off with a 3 and see how I get on. Easier to adjust while you're riding, I suppose, if need be. So it looks like it's the same procedure actually on this side. 10mm. I'll take the extension bar off. Don't need it, I don't think. Okay, take the bolt out. It looks like it's threaded right through the top as well, so you'll have to completely remove that bolt as well then. If you push it in, it will take the tension off the bolt. Okay, so that's the bolt removed. We'll take this out slowly, so hopefully nothing will fall out. There's no bushing or O-ring on this one, it's just a plain aluminium handle. Compare it to our new one that we've got. It looks pretty much the same. It's fairly straight, same thing as actually this one. So that's quite good. This should be a lot easier than the other side because you've got nothing to adjust really. So this is the. So that pushes on the plunger for the brake on there. There's a little piston in there which goes onto there. This lever will activate the brake switch. I might just put, I don't know if it's necessary, I might just put a little dollop of grease on there and just, the bolt does look very dry actually, the shoulders of the bolt. I suppose it just pivots on that. I suppose you do a lot of town riding, it's a lot of stopping and starting, isn't it? A lot of braking, a lot of so I might just give that a little clean up and just put some grease on that. Okay, so you just wind this back in again, don't you? Snip this up, probably don't want to over tighten this. So I'll put that back on as well, as it was there to start with. Probably don't want to over tighten that, do you? So that's quite nice, that's done as well now. That was an easy one, that's an easy side to do. I didn't really have a problem with the brake lever actually. I was quite happy with the distance on the brake lever. It's got the same feature with the bend up. And so that's 6, which is the widest point. So go down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So that's 1, that's the nearest. So you do get, there's probably a good inch of movement there, 25mm of movement I'd say on the adjustment lever side of it, so that's quite good. So that's a nice easy improvement you can do to your bike. So they do look nice, go nicely with the bike. You can get different colours, I just wanted stock black really, I didn't want some leery ones. So that's quite a nice easy fix. These weren't expensive, I think I paid £35 for them off Amazon, eBay. So yeah, quite easy, look good, hopefully it'll do the job. Thanks for watching.